working on the FD fuel system. So it's been a bit of the last piece, I guess, to the puzzle for that car. Everything else is working really well, but the fuel, not necessarily the whole fuel system, like sort of the back half, like the fuel tank pump side. It's just a single 460 Walbro pump, and I just can't turn the boost up because it can't flow enough fuel for what that engine and turbo wants to consume. So here we have the Radium hanger kit. It's got a built-in surge to it. So you have the current 460 that I have in the car will feed to this surge tank, and then I have another Walbro 525 which will be feeding the engine now. So this hanger can actually hold, I believe, 3 pumps. I don't need 3 pumps. I'm just going to run the single 525. I think that'll be plenty. So aside from the bigger pump, it's also the advantage of having stainless bulkheads for all the power for the pumps. So with the factory connectors, you always lose some amperage and things because they're just not meant for that high of an amp pump. So even just by upgrading to stainless steel bulkheads for the power supply for the pump, I probably could have run that one a bit harder, but this is obviously just, it's cool to look at. It's going to do a much better job. Plus having the swell pot, I can now, or surge tank, sorry, I can actually run the car lower on fuel. So instead of carrying the 70 litres that I always have to run now, I can, run it half, save 20 kilos over the back of the car. And also, run, instead of the 10-pounder boost we're running now, we can up it to about 16, 17. So yeah, more power, less weight, simplified system, and just better parts. Get a nice little cover that goes over to replace the factory one, so you can see all the cool stuff. And yeah, got fresh wiring kits for this pump and also the pump that's in the car now. And initially I was planning to run, this is their feed kit. So this line runs all the way to the front of the car. It's a -8, so it's bigger than the factory. But I've decided against running that. I'm just going to leave factory fuel lines. And the front half of the car, like engine firewall forward, that side's are all good. So it's got the primary injectors are 1050cc and the secondary is a 1700. That side's always been fine. It's just the pump can't keep up. We just drop fuel pressure with once we turn the boost up. So yeah, that's all we're going to address. This is, if I was running 2 pumps or if I was running 85 and I needed more fuel to make the same power, that's more what that would be for. Ethanol and things are very difficult and expensive to get in Japan, so just sticking to pump fuel, single pump, keeps things simple. And yeah, that's for one day when things get a bit stupid. So yeah, now I've got to get that old setup out, piece all this together, and then yeah, we can test the car soon, crank the boost up, and finally feel its potential, because that turbo it's laughing at us at that 10-pound. It's barely waking up. So I'm really excited to feel what the whole package is going to feel like once that's there, because now we've recently turned the grip up with the car. Now the power's becoming a bit of a problem, so this will fix that. Here we have my old setup. You can see it has a trapdoor there to allow the fuel to come in, but not necessarily to leave. Great in theory, but doesn't really work. Nothing like mine. Well, that one does, but the one in the photos doesn't. Alright, it's a whole nother day. So I ended up getting everything in the car and working, fuel wise, running wise, car works. Now I've come to the point of making the fuel level work on the dash, and I don't remember if anyone remembers, but a few videos ago I had some problems with the dash was playing up. It would show like full and the fuel light would be on and all sorts of stuff was going on. So this is probably why. So these were all of my, that was a factory connector. They ran to the standard hanger. So you can see everything is melted, and it was actually all melted together. You can probably see a bit there. So yeah, obviously I've pulled things apart that I need, and I've tried to chase them back, and they go all the way to the plug. So now I've pulled the harness apart there, and the wiring is good back here. So I'm going to tap in off there and get the wiring as good as possible. I guess I'll probably just bypass this plug and run just some butt connectors or something for now. But yeah, that explains quite a few things with what was happening before. But yeah, we'll do it properly, and then we have a nice connection, and hopefully fuel levels a bit more accurate for the future. Because remember, half the point of this is I want to run the car lower on fuel, because I carry like 70 litres of fuel right now, and if I can drop that down to the 30, 20, I save a lot of weight. So knowing how much fuel I have would be pretty useful. And I have a dash with a gauge, so why not use it? So that's all in now. Bad news, fuel level doesn't work. Annoyed, but look like the fuel light works, so hopefully I can run it down to that point. But yeah, now we're going to move on to the brakes, because rear rotors are pretty bad, and I think the brake pads are pretty bad too. So I've got new ones to go on. We have Gunsai next week, so may as well do it now. So yeah, I'll get into that. So the old rotors off. Probably hard to tell on camera, but these are really worn down. Massive step there. And the pads are actually pretty good. These are Project Mu D1 spec. Been in the car for a few years, still surprisingly a lot of life. They look bad in the car, but maybe just because the rotor was so far down that it looked worse than it was. I do have new ones here, but I'm actually just going to put these back in. It's got some Dixel SD rotor, I believe. Nothing too fancy. And yeah, we'll get them on. So for whatever it's worth, I for some reason I always thought the slot went the other way. So like this one spins this way, so you would have the slot matching that flow. But according to Dixels and many other websites, running them reverse like this gives better bite. Harder on the pads, but you know that obviously means more bite. So give that a go, I guess. And I guess the slit is actually for collecting dust and stuff from the pads. So when you actually press the pad, it's actually squishing onto it rather than just squishing the dust and then squishing it. So yeah, fun fact. And Mazdas have these stupid rear calipers that you have to wind the piston in so you can get your pads back on. I hate that. I'd much rather just push it on. And that's it. Fresh rotor on, same pads. I actually didn't need to wind that piston out much because we're reusing the pads. So yeah, I'll get the other side done, and it'll be very useful to go for a drive actually, because I need to just verify fuel pressure is the same. That would mean I can drive the car as it is. And then just for turning up the boost, we're going to have to get Omar and try and figure out a time, hopefully before next week, so I can run Gunsai with a bit more power. But if not, it's actually got a little more than last time anyway, because I cranked up the boost control in the middle range, like 3 to 5, 6,000, as the boost is higher there, but the top end is the same. So it would be better than last time, but we just did all that work and I want to feel that bit more boost. So see if I can work something out. If not, it'll still do the job. As we know, we've already been there with this setup, it was fine. But yeah, just enough is good, more must be better, right? as far as the Radium stuff's concerned, it's all in, finished. I would like to put some maybe Deutsch connectors on the just before that cover, because right now it's just the terminals through the hole. A few problems with it. I had to go to the hardware store a few times and buy connectors that actually work, because those heat shrink / solder things never work for me. So this grommet that goes through this cover actually isn't the right size. Not sure what's the go there. That might not even be for that, but that was my assumption. But yeah, I'm fairly happy with how I tucked everything. I got my 2 pump relays in there. Oop. And they obviously go straight to the battery. My ground's up there that I've always had before. My fuel gauge, unfortunately, doesn't work. It went straight to empty, so I'm assuming... Yeah, I'm not really sure. Because when I put that hanger in the tank, it was extremely tight, and you have to push and shove, and maybe it was bad before, maybe it's bad now, I don't really know. Yeah, pretty frustrated with that, because that was half of the point of doing this was that I can run more boost, and the other half was I can run the car low on fuel, but without knowing how much fuel, I'm probably going to end up overfilling it so I don't run out by accident. It looks like the fuel light, like the level low light, might actually work. So if so, now that I have a surge tank, in theory I should be able to run the car all the way down until that comes on, then fill it up. But yeah, I can drive it as is, as long as the fuel pressure is what it used to be, which it should. That's the regulator's job. But if I'm going to turn the boost up, or when I turn the boost up, I need to get Omar to look at the tune. I'm going to put in a little bit colder plugs now that we're turning the boost up. And yeah, but all that'll come in another video. As far as the fuel system's concerned, it's all finished now. It drives, it runs. So we'll leave it there. I changed my rotors today. Old ones are very worn, massive lip on them. I was going to do pads as well, but the pads are fine, so I left them. That's pretty much it. I took the 08Rs off and I put the 08Cs on because we're going to Gunsai next week. And 08Rs there would be borderline suicidal, I feel. So, but yeah, excited to drive the car with more boost at Gunsai, because last time it was amazing, so more will be better. Today's a new day. Car is all finished, as you saw in the last clip. I did a little test drive on it just to make sure that the fuel pressure was good and everything, and everything seems to be working great. So today we're off to Lead Racing. We've rented their hub dyno for a couple of hours, and yeah, we're just going to make sure everything's working as it should. The setup in the car, like, it's been in there for 3 years. It's never actually been on the dyno tuned, or I don't know what power it makes. I have no idea. So you know, it'd be nice to get a number back today. But yeah, we're not really aiming for a number. I was driving the car on like 10 pounds of boost before, and now we're going to be going up to around 18 or so. So whatever number it makes there, that's what it makes. There's no real goal. I guess if I had to put a number, I would like to see 450, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever it makes, it makes. And yeah, we just really got to make sure everything's working, because now that the booster's up, we need to really be a bit more on top of things. When you're running 10 pounds of boost, you can get away with a lot. When you're running 18 on pump fuel, you just need to be a bit more careful, especially with the rotary, most importantly with the rotary. So yeah, that's that. Tomorrow we have Gunsai again, very excited for that. But yeah, we're just a bit panicked and stressed. Obviously that's tomorrow, we're tuning the car today, so yeah. Anxiety is up there, but I think it will go well. The car's been running great for a while, so there's no reason anything should happen today. But yeah, just dynos in general, I don't like it. I'd rather not be there. I'd rather drop it off and walk away. But so like, we've rented the dyno today, but Omar in Australia, he's going to be logging into my laptop and tuning the car from Australia. So I have to be there. So, otherwise I would just go get lunch, come back and put it back in the truck. Right. But yeah. Yeah, when we get there, we'll show you some of the shop and what they do, because if you don't know, they're a mostly rotary based shop and they got a lot of cool stuff. So so we'll see you then. So here at Elite now, we have cars on the dyno. It's all set up, ready to go. They set all that up for us. Now I've just warmed the car up and got to warm the dyno up a little bit as well. So that's all done. Omar's a few minutes away. So yeah, now it's just a matter of, we'll start low, probably do like a 5,000 or 6,000 RPM pull, make sure everything's safe, and then we'll ramp up in RPM. And once we feel happy, then we'll just do a full hit, see where the boost is, and yeah, just address it then. It's just gonna do what it does. We'll go from there. And but like I said before, like it should be pretty straightforward. The car's you know, tuned as such. We're just verifying a few things, making sure everything's happy. And at some point today, once we're happy, we're going to pull the plugs out and put fresh ones in, and then pull them back out and read them and see what the engine is actually telling us, because your sensors and your widebands can tell you so much, but at the end of the day, the plug is the thing that's inside the motor, so you're going to get a lot of info from that if you can read it properly, which I can't, but Omar can. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm nervous. Black 2010 5. I thought I had 10s in it. Okay, cool. Alright, easy. Thank you. Alright, so we just put some fresh plugs in the leading, which is the bottom spark plug hole on both rotors. And so what we're going to do now is do a pull that we just did. It's exactly the same. And then once the pull's finished, I'll turn the car off and then pull the plugs, and then we're going to read the plug. So we'll see where the timing and stuff is, if we're leaning on it, if the front rotor is more rich than the rear rotor, like all these things that we can't get from the sensors, we'll get from that just to check we're safe, and then we're pretty much done. That's like not too dirty. Hot off the press. Okay, so that last pull, we put fresh plugs into the leading and shut the car off after I come back to idle. And after doing that, we can see some coloration of the plugs. So I'm learning this today too, so I'm definitely not an expert, but judging by the color, he did just explain it to me, but I've already forgotten which one was hotter than what. But both of ours are purple, and one had more purple than the other, so that one was the hotter one. and he didn't tell us which one he generally has hotter, but the one we picked was the right one, so that means everything's as per normal. So the rear rotor was the hotter one, so we've just added 2% fuel to the rear rotor just to even out that little temperature difference. And yeah, he says that just helps share the load of the engine. If it does like lean out at a point, then you know they're more balanced. So it's not just one closer to the edge than the other one. So everything else was great. Car made 430. It's only on 15 pounds of boost. I was hoping for more like 17, 18, but Omar's a bit worried about running that much boost with the kind of driving that we do, and he's probably right. So yeah, I'll get these back in. We'll do another run just to confirm everything's good. I got fresh plugs for the top, and then we'll have a look at the graph and talk about a few things. Alright, plugs are back in. Just going to do one more check just to make sure everything's good. Now it's got the fresh plugs in it. Do one last run and then pack it up and get out of it. So we'll do a bit of a run through this one. So in the fifth, obviously all finished up at lead. I got a haircut and yeah, it was a pretty uneventful dyno session really. Didn't have to work on the car. We did the plugs obviously, but that was just for purely tuning tools, I guess. Like we're just trying to see what the engine's telling us versus what the data's telling us. And yeah, everything went great. We ended up making 430 horsepower at 15 pounds of boost. That's with no correction on the dyno. So a lot of Japanese places will add 10 or 20% is also common. It's like a guesstimate at the engine power, but you know that's zero correction, so that's a real 430. You know, depending where else you go, there might be 480, 500 in Japan, but yeah, I like the real numbers. Yeah, the fuel system stuff has worked great. My fuel level gauge doesn't work. That could be just my sender's problem, but we can adjust that later. It's not a big issue. I believe my the low level light actually works, so we'll just rely on that for now. And yeah, aside from being hard to physically install it into the tank, it all worked great. And tomorrow we have Gunsai, so plan is to run the car down on fuel, and then I can really see how low I can run it before it starts surging or before the ECU yells at us. And yeah, I'm really excited. We picked up some good mid-range, so we turned the boost duty cycle up on the boost controller, and it's at 4,000 RPM. It picked up about 40 horsepower at the wheels, which is pretty significant. So that combined with more boost, so it's going to have more power everywhere, and I feel like it's going to be exactly what it needed. So very excited, and obviously Gunsai is probably my favorite track to drive ever. So yeah, fresh tune, excited to drive that, and also just Gunsai in general excited.